Hey guys, my name is Moon and welcome back for more Umineko When They Cry, episode 7. So last time Sayo was solving the epitaph and they showed us how to solve it with Will, Leon, and Claire. So that was pretty good. So let us continue and let's see what happens today. It's probably going to be extremely juicy, right? So let's do this. Quadrillion. There's only one place you'll find that word in Rokinjima. The chapel. Gold butterflies flit from the shadow to shadow, dodging raindrops.
わらわの記憶が間違っていなければ、確かここで見た覚えがある。
Yep. It was the chapel. That mysterious building, one of the oldest on Rokinjima, which had been built at the same time as the mansion. It was called a chapel, but not once had Kinzo used it for worship, and the members of the family had never been allowed inside. It's kinda weird, right? You have this big chapel here, but no one uses it. But Kinzo, what do you call this? Lets the servants clean it at least maybe like once a month or something. They didn't say that. But yeah, such a grand chapel, but it's not in use for some reason. There were strict orders that none approach it without reason, and its purpose has always been a mystery. However, all of these mysteries got boring after several decades. At some point, everyone forgot the chapel even existed, and that splendid building passed from the thoughts of Rokinjima's residents. Of course, this had been true for Beato as well. Beato, who had hated boredom, had no desire to approach the place that humans never went. Her last memory was one of the time she went in there to taunt Shannon as she tried to clean.
間違いない。あれであるな。クワドリリオン。
Quadrillion. Beato looked up above the door of the chapel. There was a relief displayed over an arch. English words were written there.
お前は1000兆分の1の確率でしか祝福されないか。あの謎を解ける者が現れる確率を、そなたは1000兆という名の奇跡に見立てたのか。
This chapel was built long ago. If there is a device like the one I imagined, Kinzo must have prepared that epitaph real many decades ago. He must have been planning to use it as a ceremony for choosing a fitting successor all that time. But the thing is, yeah, he didn't put it up back then. He put it up now for some reason. Why didn't he do it back then, right? However, that ceremony is now a ceremony to open the door to the Golden Land and to my resurrection. When I snapped my fingers, the ground bulged and several snake-like dead trees sprouted up. They twisted around each other to form a ladder which leaned itself against the door.
わらわの想像通りならば、あのレリーフが仕掛けだ。
I slowly climbed the ladder. Because of the size of the door, the relief was very high up. This close up, it looks much bigger than it did from the ground.
そういえば、礼拝堂を大掃除するとき、あの源氏が、わざわざこのレリーフだけは、自らの手で磨いていたな。
Okay.
その程度のこと、なぜ若い使用人に任せぬのかと不思議に思っていたものだが。
I thought it strange, but nothing more. The master treasured this relief, so the head servant cared for it himself. I always accepted that excuse, but now I understand. There must be something in this relief. And Genji polished it himself to make sure that no one else accidentally found out.
このクワドリリオンから鍵の選びし6文字を生贄に捧げるという。
The tips of my fingers touched the cue. My fingertips were soon covered with dust. However, I quickly realized that there was something strange about it.
この文字。
You could push it down?
いや、 そうでなくてはならん。でなくては生贄に捧げられぬからな。
No, so you could push down the buttons. Yeah. Beato grabbed the letter Q, and after lightly playing around with it in various ways, she pulled it out with a slight clunk. Oh, pulling it out.
やはりな。
Here's the Q I pulled out. And this part's a wedge. No, it's a key. A key was attached to the back of the Q and had been stuck into a keyhole in the relief.
そういうことか。ならばあとはわかるぞ。よしよし、このQの鍵は違う。お前は外れだ。
That's why Genji was the only one cleaning it. Because maybe, let's say other servants, right? Maybe they accidentally pulled it or whatever. So Genji was always the one who does the cleaning for this one. Beato carelessly tossed the Q key aside. This was the first sacrifice. She kept on pulling out the keys were the 6 letters representing the key.
A も生贄であるな。そして I も2つ生贄だ。最後の N も生贄か。L は1文字を生贄であるが、困ったぞ。L は2つあるではないか。
I mean, just pull one of them. There are 2 L's, but I didn't know which I should sacrifice. I tried pulling both out, but the keys were of different shapes. So the one is a right answer and the one is a wrong answer.
どうせ2通りしかない。誤りだったらもう片方を試せばいいだけのこと。
Unless messing up sets of a trap that blows up the island, of course. Imagine that. Thinking it a waste of time to sit here worrying, I decided on the rightmost L and pulled it out. 5 letters remain in the word.
これにて第1の番は終了だ。続いて第2の番。
On the second twilight, those who remain shall tear apart the 2 who are close. This one I do not understand. Yeah, this one, the second twilight.
D と R が寄り添っているな。
Okay, so they're close, so what happens then? You separate them and then what?
これを引き裂くとはいかに。抜けばよいのか。
But if I do, there will only be 3 letters left. By this point, I was able to make a good guess at what the gouge and kill lines meant.
えぐりて殺せはおそらく鍵をひねって回してから引き抜けという意味であるに違いない。となれば頭から足はおそらく左の文字鍵から右へ順にそれを行えという意味に違いあるまい。
Left to right. If that's the case, there must be 5 characters left on the board. In other words, tear apart doesn't mean
そ
kill.
れで引き裂けと考えた場合、この D と R、2字の間隔を空けよと読み取れるな。
I mean putting a gap between the D and the R.
しかし、どうまたしてもやり方は2通りであるぞ。
You could just move it, I guess. Do I remove the D and move it to the left? Do I remove the R and move it to the right? After pondering this for some time, I realized that both choices were wrong.
違う。そうではないのだ。さっきの L から間違っていた。
A short while ago, I removed the right of the 2 L's. However, if I had removed the left one, it would look like this. Okay? If you line it up this way, it's easy to see the next step. All because there's 1 space between each of them now, right? The U and D. 1 space, right? And then the D and the R, you move the R to the right, it's gonna have 1 space again. Okay. The R gets shifted to the right. Yeah, 1 space between them. This way all of the letters are spread out evenly. And then now what? This must be it.
そして次がまた難題であるぞ。我が名を称えよとな。
It's already clear that this is a word game. Those who remain shall praise my noble name. Just what are the remaining 5 letters supposed to do? Probably change their order to form a word.
U, D, DRLO。この5文字をどうにかすると何かの意味になるということか。
Praise my name.
ここまで来てわけのわからぬ謎を。この5文字でどう我が名とやらを称えろというのか。
The man's name is Ushirimiya Kinzo. You got a U there. Is the U part of Ushirimiya? No, several letters don't match and there aren't nearly enough letters to make Ushirimiya.
我が名とは金蔵を指すことだけは間違いない。ならばやはり U は後ろ宮を指すのか。イニシャルであるとか。ならば DRLO は何を意味する。
Honestly, for the 4 letters, you can spell Lord there. Lord, right?
金蔵も意味せん。RO でまさかの金島を。
Lord U. Lord Ushirimiya.
六軒島の主金蔵。字数がまるで足らぬ。
Honestly, what is the point of the second letter or second twilight though? Separate them if you're gonna rearrange them again. Maybe it means that for the second twilight, I mean, it has to have a space in between them. That's the meaning of that. Because yeah, if we rearrange this as Lord U, yeah, you're putting LO on the left side and then RD are still next to each other technically, right? And then U at the end. So maybe it just says that you need to separate the ones who are close because you need one space apart for each of the letters. Probably something like that, I don't know. The riddle left me totally confused. However, there were only 5 letters left. There can be too many possible combinations of those letters. I could use a process of elimination. Thinking I'd played around with it, I pulled out the U. There were 4 letters left. The DRL and the O. It's very clear to see. It says Lord there. My idea that the U stood for Ushirimiya was like a heavenly oracle. When I removed the U, I thought of making a word with the remaining 4 letters. Those 4 letters spun around my head, changing their orders, and latched upon a single English word that would serve to praise Kinzo. Yeah, Lord.
Lord だ。Lord.
I have absolutely no basis for it. However, it was like a flash of inspiration. I quickly changed the letters around before that flash faded from my mind.
L-O-R-D Lord U 後ろ宮教どうか。第4の番に頭をえぐりって。
It was a key, so it wouldn't have turned if it was the wrong one. But it did turn. I managed to gouge it. I gouged the first letter, the L, with a click and then pulled it out.
次、第5の番、胸をえぐりて殺せ。
The O was gouged and pulled out easily. Then the R, then the D, and finally the U. It's like a lock, it opened. See that? The door. You heard that click? When I turned the key of the U, I could feel a resistance as though some device has been activated. So what door was opened then? I waited for something to change, but nothing did. However, I had felt something happen. A secret door must have opened up somewhere around here. Waiting around won't accomplish anything. I've probably done everything I can here. All the others in Quadrillion have been removed.
第9の番に魔女は蘇り、誰も生き残れはしない。
So this way has the witch have I revived. The 10th twilight, at journey's end, you shall attain to the power of the Golden Land's treasures once and for the last time. When I stepped down off the ladder and looked around, I immediately noticed a small change.
ライオンの像が
Oh, the lion shifted to the right side now. Look at that. You didn't even notice that? That I would notice instantly. I mean, just by it moving. That thing is made of stone. So if it moved, you would hear that it was moving. Yeah. At some point, the lion statue in front of the chapel had turned to face a different direction. How did that work? Did Kinzo plan up this extravagant device back when he started building on this island? I mean 100%, yeah. You can't just build this instantly. I walked up to the lion statue and stared at it. Other than the fact that it was pointing a different direction, nothing had changed. In that case, is the lion looking at something in particular now? I followed its line of sight and saw another lion statue. And that lion statue had also changed its direction.
なるほど。
So there are multiple lion statues, not just this one in the chapel? Wouldn't that be a clue in and of its own, right? Like you see a lion in the woods, technically, near the chapel, you would be like, does this mean something? It probably has.
ライオンの道案内に従えということか。金蔵め、凝った仕掛けを作りおる。
I wasn't complaining anymore. I felt a bit of respect and awe at Kinzo for setting up such an intricate device and having it go undiscovered for all these years. There were lion statues standing like guardian deities at the entrance and the corners of the chapel. The direction they faced had changed, pointing around to the back of the chapel. Oh, okay, now I just realized, yeah. Maybe the reason why Leon's name is Leon, right? Maybe back then when Leon was still a baby, Kinzo named the baby literally Leon. Leon Oshiromiya. No, I'm just realizing that's why he has statues like this. So, let's say, yeah, when Leon died, the baby, he thought it was dead. He had built all of this, right? Maybe in the future, Leon might solve it, something like that. There was something here, or there, I mean. I don't know, who knows, right? Who knows? It was no longer a surprise. This was after the contraption with the letters. After being guided by the lions, so when a gaping open secret passageway appeared with the stairs leading down to the darkness below, it wasn't surprising to me anymore.
これが黄金鏡への入り口だというのか。
Okay, here we go. This is gonna be just like Ava.
見つけたんですか、おじい様の黄金を。
はい、長い長い時間をかけてたどり着いた黄金鏡でした。
過去のゲームによるならば、そこには地下の貴賓室があり、そして10トンの黄金が。
But yeah, I don't think it's like 10 tons anymore. Let's say some of it has been used already. Like it's impossible that none of it has been used.
はい。
Because yeah, remember in the 4th episode when the culprit Yasu was giving money to the relatives of the people here, like Kumasawa's son, Nanju's son. So yeah, definitely Shivi used some of those money or some of those gold and yeah, turned it into, let's say, to cash to give to those people.
地下への武骨な階段を降りていくと、突き当たりには扉が。
So it's not 100% 10 tons anymore, but it's still a lot of gold.
中はまさに貴賓室と呼ぶべき美しき内装でした。
見つけたのは黄金だけだったのか。
はい、その時は。積み上げられた黄金に目がくらまぬわけもありませんでした。
I mean, I think anyone would be. Imagine seeing 10 tons of gold in front of you. Like, my god. Yeah, everyone would freeze. Would be amazed. Like, what is this?
これは本物なのか。
I lightly touched the pile of gold with my finger. It was hard and cold. I must have imagined that it would crumble like a sand if I touched it. Now, there could be no doubt. This certainly was a 10-ton pile of gold ingots. Considering the amount of gold I had just found, I figured I ought to be crying out in delight. I didn't really feel like laughing, but I thought it only good manners to do so in a situation like this. So I forced it out. Because of this, only a few feeble laughs slipped from my mouth. At that moment, even stronger than any delight, was a feeling as though I didn't enter the place I wasn't supposed to be. I couldn't think of what I should do next now that the epitaph's riddle had been completed. And then I heard approaching footsteps. It was coming from the stairway I had entered by. Someone was coming. Could it be Kinzo? If he finds out I've been in a place like this, I will get scolded harshly. Honestly, I think it's Genji. Yeah, Genji or maybe some of the other servants. Or maybe Kumasawa, but yeah, it's most likely Genji. I thought about hiding and forgetting this ever happened, but my legs wouldn't move. I kept standing there, stunned in front of the pile of gold as the footsteps drew closer and closer. The door opened and I saw who it was. It is him. It is him. It wasn't Kinzo. It was him. Okay.
そなたは。
自分の力だけでたどり着いたのか。
I mean, he wanted her to solve this though, so he could give, or Genji could give Kinzo his final wish to say his what do you call this? To say all the stuff he regrets, right? So Genji did want this to happen.
うん。
For some time, Genji stared at Beato in silence, as though he was calculating something. Then he slowly clapped his hands together. He did it again over and over. It took quite a long time before I realized that he was applauding me. But yeah, I do remember this. Will, right? Will said that you solving the epitaph was, I guess, I forgot how he worded it, but it's like a big mistake or whatever, because yeah, after Sayu solved this is when like the real problems came out, right? After solving this epitaph. So it's just funny because Genji, he wanted to give Sayu, I guess, a much better chance. That's why he didn't tell Kinzo. But right now, he wanted to help Kinzo, so he helped Sayu solve this this epitaph, and in return, it technically messed up Sayu, right? So instead of helping Sayu, he made it worse. I mean, for Genji. What if Sayu didn't solve this epitaph? Things would be much more different, right? At least for her.
親方様は碑文を最初に解いた者に黄金と家督のすべてを譲り渡すとおっしゃられた。そしてその人物がベアトリーチェであると信じた。
ベアトリーチェ、私が。
これは運命だ。
I mean, it's not really fate. You pretty much was controlling this fate, yeah.
お前は今日を迎えるのが運命だったのだ。
You helped her solve it, and you're just saying this. I didn't really understand what Genji was saying. Surely the shock of seeing the gold still had me paralyzed.
こっちへ来なさい。
はい。
Genji opened a closet. Inside was a torso wearing a beautiful dress made of black cloth and golden stitching. Okay, here we go. So this is how it really happened. I did say this in my thoughts and theory video that, yeah, they dressed her up to look like Beatrice, so Kinzo could say his apologies, right? So I was correct. They really did that. When I saw it, I understood it immediately. That dress, it was a witch's dress. They're gonna dress her up as Beatrice. So then they're gonna show her to Kinzo. The black dress worn by Beatrice in the portrait.
これに着替えなさい。
これは
Like for her, she's like, what's the meaning of this, right?
かつて、お前が着ていたものだ。
Genji's saying it is something you once wore, so yeah, her mom. Koadori and Beatrice. I've never worn a dress like this. However, I understood what Genji meant. The dress was one that Beatrice once wore. And the one who displays a miracle by solving this epitaph is Beatrice. By reaching this room, I succeeded the position of the real Beatrice. The one in the portrait. Why do I call myself Beatrice? Because the name of the Golden Witch who rules over Okinjima's night is Beatrice. That's right. I wasn't the real Beatrice. I was a different witch stealing the name of the witch from Kinzo's delusions. But now she is the real one. And now I have succeeded the real Beatrice. And have become her. By solving the epitaph's riddle, my resurrection will be complete. I was the one who decided on that rule. However, this really was a ceremony to resurrect Beatrice. In the past, I believed that I could create my own fate with my magic. How ironic that the one who could control magic at will would be guided by fate to this place. At that moment, I had no choice but to truly accept and believe in this word called fate.
これを着たら
親方様のところへ行く。
You will go to the master.
支度をしなさい。
So this is it. This is the juicy scene, okay?
ここで待て。
はい
Imagine for Kinzo seeing this after years and years of not seeing Beatrice, and suddenly one night Genji brings him something like this.
親方様、源氏でございます。
After Genji knocked, the sound of the study's door unlocking could be heard. After a single glance telling it to wait, Genji entered alone.
このような日が来るとは
Even Kumasawa is like, it's time.
運命とは本当に不思議なものです。
Kumasawa was with us too. I thought this dress, which didn't really suit me, would lead to a lot of jokes, but she didn't laugh at me at all. On the contrary, when she saw me, her expression had turned stern, as though a long-awaited day had finally come. My heart raced. Supposedly anyone should have been able to solve the epitaph. There shouldn't be anything strange about me solving it. Genji and the others kept wearing serious expressions, and that, along with everything else, made this feel like some sort of grand ceremony. The suffocating silence continued. Eventually, the door opened and Genji picked out.
お入りください。ベアトリーチェ様。
He was saying those words to me, but not to the person I had been until a short while ago.
さあどうぞベアトリーチェ様。
Beatrice-sama. Kumasawa also urged me forward with a respectable bow. Kinzo was probably waiting for me inside. What expression should I wear as I go in? How should I greet him? I don't have a clue. As the two of them motioned me forward, it was all I could do to avoid tripping over my dress as I walked.
金蔵さん、
Nanjo is right there as well.
いらっしゃいましたぞ。
Kinzo was crouched on the ground as though kneeling before the portrait of Beatrice. As Nanjo's words, he slowly turned, still crouching. Kinzo's eyes were already red with crying. When he saw me, he groaned with wonder.
Beatrice! Beatrice!
Had he but forgotten how to stand up? He crawled over to where I was, while calling out to me with the name of the woman he had loved long ago. I was too stunned to move. Kinzo grabbed the hem of my dress, gripped it tightly, then curled up and sobbed.
Beatrice! すまなかった、すまなかった。
There it is, Kinzo apologizing.
お前の心は分かっていたのに、私は何と言う。すまなかった。許しておくれ。許しておくれ。
The words weren't directed at me. However, just standing here like this was all I needed to do. Kinzo's moment of atonement, the moment he had spent half of his life searching for, had finally come. A human's life is stained with sin. Humans seek forgiveness while they still live. However, in most cases, the person capable of granting such forgiveness is no longer on this earth. It was like that for Kinzo too. The one he sought no longer existed in this world. Instead, that forgiveness had been woven together by a miracle, and now Kinzo had received it.
Oh, Beatrice! Beatrice! たとえ許してくれなくてもいい。何も言わなくてもいい。私はお前にただ一言謝れればそれでよかった。
Ginzo kept grasping the dress as a hem and sobbing. The sins of humans are not forgiven from without. Forgiveness is found through regret and repentance. I want to believe that some sin, some fault of his has been forgiven thanks to the way I looked. Ginzo's sobbing gradually ceased, and he slowly looked up at me and rose. He looked unsteady. Nanjo rushed forward to support him.
よくぞ生きていてくれた。嬉しいぞ。
This time, I mean, these words weren't directed through me but at me. I hesitated, unsure how I should respond.
今日まで親方様に内密にしておりましたことをどうかお許しください。
よいのだ源氏。
So also, maybe did Kinzo realize that this was the baby back then?
私の犯した罪を思えば、今日までの日々はすべて贖罪のために必要な日々であったのだ。
Because yeah, the way Yasu was wording this time these words weren't directed through me but at me. So yeah, you could say that he knows or he realized that this was really the baby that they thought was dead or he thought was dead.
しかし今日の奇跡は紛れもなく本物の奇跡でございます。
And then Genji saying this, I beg your forgiveness for keeping this a secret from you all this time.
彼女は誰の助けもなく自分だけの力で
Without anyone's help except you.
誰よりも最初に碑文を解いたのです。
よくぞあの難解な碑文を解けたな。
はい。
母の声によく似ておる。
Oh, there we go. So now he's really, it's really a confirmation. I guess your voice resembles your mother's.
面影も 母や娘を思い出す。
Mother and daughter.
紛れもなくお前にはベアトリーチェの血が流れておる。
Yeah, I didn't exactly expect this. I thought he would not realize that this was like another person. I thought he would just say like, oh, it was you or it's you.
はい、
I didn't expect him saying that, oh, it's you survived, you look like your mom, etc. all those stuff.
若き日のクアドリアンのお嬢様の面影がよく残っております。
Traces of the Lady of Coadorian in her youth are right there. Does my face look like someone else?
ベアトリーチェ様、これまであなたにも秘密にしてきたことをどうかお許しください。あなたはベアトリーチェ様と親方様よりお生まれになったのです。
Now he's gonna say this, yeah. He's gonna reveal everything now.
真実でございます。あなた様は今日まで両親のいない子として育てられてまいりました。しかし本当のお父上は親方様、そして本当のお母上はベアトリーチェ様なのでございます。
それは。
はい、あなたは本当にベアトリーチェ様のご子孫でございます。
Is such a strange fate really possible? I dreamed about it. Dreamed about what it'd be like to be the golden witch Beatrice. But the dream had been mine alone. I dreamed that if I solved the epitaph and carried out its ceremony, I would revive as a true Beatrice. So is it okay to believe that since I've solved it, Beatrice really has revived?
私が本当にベアトリーチェの血を。
はい、一切の紛れはございません。
今日まで親子の愛情も知らず、さぞやおつらい思いをされてきたでしょう。
I mean, yes, obviously.
にもかかわらず、本当にご立派に育たれました。
皆さんは知ってたんですか？私のことを。
Genji, Kumasawa, and even Nanjo nodded wordlessly. Now that I think about it, there might have been lots of hints. I've always felt as though there was something special about me, yeah. Like, from her working in Rokinjima, even though she was a very, very young person back then, right? All those stuff. I mean, you wouldn't really notice that when you're a kid. But, yeah, I guess now that they're saying it to you, now you would realize, oh yeah, kind of makes sense now why I was always treated better or especially. Genji and especially Kumasawa always treated me very kindly. Yeah, like Kumasawa would act like her grandma and then Genji would act like, yeah, let's say another figure to her, right? Let's say another father figure, let's say. Then does it mean this day is a promised day which would eventually have come no matter what? I don't understand anything anymore. It's all a miracle from God. A promised fate has led me to this day.
ベアトリーチェ。いや、リオ。
Leon, there we go. He said it, Leon. That's your real name.
そなたに与えようと思っていた名前だ。
As I said, I surely didn't expect this.
あなたの本当の名前でございます。
リオ。今こそそなたにベアトリーチェより与えられたすべてを返そう。 あの黄金もそれによって生み出された後宮家のすべてもそなたに返そう。
Kinzo stuck out a hand that looked like a rotting tree. In his finger was a ring with a one-winged eagle crest, the symbol of the Ushirimiya family head. He pulled it off, grasped it tightly, and held it out to me. I didn't know what to do with it. Slowly, as though they were being drawn forward, I held out my hands and palms up. After pressing his fist against my cut hands, Kinzo slowly opened his hands and let the ring drop.
我が子リオンよ、今日までお前の運命をもてあそんだのはすべて私の罪のせいだ。許しておくれ。そなたは今や我が指輪を受け継ぎ、正しく新しい後宮家の当主である。あの黄金はすべてそなたのもの。好きに使い、今日までの日々の辛き思い出をわずかでも癒すがいい。あの程度の黄金、私の犯した罪には到底及びはせぬが、それでもそなたを慰めるくらいはできるはずだ。
ありがとうございます。
リオン、最後に一つだけ頼みがある。
Okay.
何でしょうか。
私を呼んでくれぬか。
Father is gonna say father.
すみません。今なんと。
私をお父様と呼んでくれぬか。呼べぬ気持ちはわかる。私はそなたに何も父らしいことをしなかった。そしてそなたもまた父など知らずに育った。とても口にできる言葉ではないと分かっている。そしてそれを求める資格が私にないことも分かっている。だがそれを承知で頼む。それさえ聞けたならもう私に何の未練もない。
After being asked like that, could I possibly have refused? Even if I am his child, I truly cannot acknowledge him as my father. So it felt very strange to say it. So yeah, I guess she's just gonna play along here. And yet I decided that saying it was the right thing to do. Only God can truly forgive sins. But though it may be temporary, people can be saved by the forgiveness of others. That awkward word made Kinzo laugh. Drops of silver fell from both of his eyes. He's gonna die. At that moment, the shadow that had covered his face was wiped away.
ありがとう、リオン。我が子よ。そしてベアトリーチェ、最後に許しを請う機会を与えてくれてありがとう。もちろんこれしきで許されたとは思いません。続きは地獄の豪華で焼かれながらとしようではないか。後宮金蔵、我が生に一切の未練なし。
Look at his eyes. I have no more regrets in this life, and then he's gonna die.
もはや何もなし。 心残りもやり残しも何もなし。
You know why this is kind of still... Oh, how do I say this? Bad is the word bad, but let's say messed up. He's saying, I have no more regrets in this life, none at all, no regrets or matters left unfinished. You know how he treated his other family, right? His main family? How bad he treated his kids, Kraus, all of them, and his grandkids, and he's saying this, he had no regrets anymore? Sure, this is a major one that he did. This is his major regret and major sin, but he had a lot of sins with his other family as well. But as you can see here, he didn't really care. Until the end, he didn't really care about them. Looking up to the heavens, Kinzu spread his arms as though facing an applauding audience, laughing at the top of his lungs. It was a final pleasure known only by those who have been released from all the regrets of this world. Kinzo's laugh weakened, and when it disappeared, he dropped to his knees like a puppet with its strings cut and slowly fell to the ground. I mean, yeah.
Oh, 親方様。
He probably had a heart attack. I mean, that's usually it all the time. When they say natural causes, yeah, heart attack, cardiac arrest.
南條先生。
Though their master had fallen, they walked up to him slowly. They already knew. Kinzo's soul had already burned itself out. After checking Kinzo's pulse, Nanjo shook his head and stood back up.
大往生だ。何の心残りもないだろ
う。親方様は、あるいはもうずっと以前にお亡くなりになっていたのです。それを親方様の魔法と執念で今日までを流らえていたに過ぎないのです。そしてベアトリーチェ様に謝罪する機会をようやく得て全てを終えられたのでしょう。
安らかにお眠りください。あなたは罪を償われたと信じます。
お父様。
That was the one night reunion between me and my father, and also our final farewell. That was a great scene. Yeah, one of the biggest scenes in this game. Yep. What happens next, though? We'll see.
この黄金は全てあなたのものです。現金化をご希望でしたら、そのように手配することもできます。
200億円の価値があるそうです。
20 billion yen.
もうあんたにはこの世で金で叶えられぬ夢はありませんな。
急にこんな大金が手に入っても使い道に困ってしまいますね。
Kumasawa's like, can I have at least one block of it? Can I have one ingot?
お金で手に入れられるものの中に私の欲しいものはありません。ですから、これは当分はそのままにしておこうと思います。
Honestly, if you had this, what would you buy? For me personally, I don't know. Like, for us in the modern world, or in our time right now, we have a lot of things that you can buy now. Well, let's say back then, right? I wonder though, I wonder. What can you buy? What will you buy? Of course, I'm glad I have a lot of money. However, money can heal the pain in my heart. If she was alive in modern times, she would use all of that and play gacha games. She would spend all that money there. I just want him to come back.
かしこまりました。では、そのようにいたします。それから、この鍵を。
これは？
この地 歯科貴賓室へ至る鍵です。これを使えば、もう仕掛けを使う必要はありません。
She was the only one who knew the answer to the epitaph's riddle, and the only key to this place was now hers. At this point, she truly was the master of this golden VIP room.
あなたはもはや、この六軒島の主です。この島のすべての秘密をお知りになられる資格があります。
クワドリアンのことも話すべきでしょうな。
あなたのお母上がお過ごしになられた隠し館です。お噂くらいはお聞きになったことがあるでしょう。
クワドリアン。
この島の両端には2つの屋敷があります。一方は私たちのよく知るお屋敷。もう一方はクワドリアンと呼ばれる隠し屋敷でございます。
この島の地下には戦争中に作られた基地の跡があるのです。お館様はそれを利用されて島の両端を行き来されておりました。
この部屋の奥に地下道があり、それを進めば島の反対側のクワドリアンの地下につながります。親方様しかご存知でない秘密の屋敷です。もちろんその屋敷ももはや新しき当主のものです。
あんたのお母さんが暮らしていた屋敷だ。一度行ってみるのもいいだろう。
私のお母さん。
I've lived alone my whole life. The only person I've ever felt like calling mother is Kumasawa-san, who always helped me out. So there's a mansion where a mother I've never met nor seen lived. Who exactly am I? Are you gonna say it though?
何でもお尋ねください。
Yeah, ask it who am I, and then now she's gonna get messed up.
今のあなたには全てを知る資格がございます。
今は何が何だかわからなくて、何から聞けばいいかもわかりません。
Like right now, the feelings are like very, very confusing, right? And yeah, it's like, oh, I'm actually the daughter of the master and the woman Beatrice, but she doesn't really know how it happened yet.
でもきっとたくさん聞きたいことがこれから見つかると思います。その時教えてください。
かしこまりました。
あと、そんなにかしこまられると居心地が悪いです。これまでと同じ口調で話しかけてくれた方が嬉しいです。
I'd be happier if you could talk to me the same way you've always done. Okay.
それをお望みでしたら、そのようにもいたします。
私もその方が気楽です。
さて、これからどうするんだ、源氏さん。金蔵さんは亡くなった。
旦那様と奥様にお亡くなりになられたことをお伝えします。そしてリオン様が正式な当主後継者であることをお伝えしなくてはなりません。今日よりあなたが後ろ宮家当主なのですから。
私が当主なんてそんな。それに次期当主はクラウス様では。
碑文の謎を解いた者が次期当主である。これはお預かりしている遺言状にも明記してございます。親方様の最後の命令があなたに全てを引き継ぐことなのです。
待ってください。お気持ちは嬉しいですが、私には次期当主なんて務まりませんし、そんな退任とてもお引き受けできません。 その役目はやはりクラウス様が引き継がれる方がいいと思います。
よろしいのですか？
私は今日ここで自分が誰かを知ることができました。
I mean, obviously for her, right? I mean, she doesn't know anything how to be a head, or yes, and all this business stuff. She doesn't know that.
人なら誰でも知っている両親のこと。私には生まれながらにしてそれがなかった。それを今日ここで得ることができました。それだけで私は十分なんです。
If I suddenly became the Oshiromiya family head, how would Krausama react? How angry would Madam be? I don't want to become the head if it means making them feel like that. Today I learned who I am, who gave birth to me and when. These are things I want to learn from them as time goes by. That alone is enough.
私はリオン、
Leon.
そして黄金の魔女ベアトリーチェです。それが分かっただけで私は十分です。
If that stopped at that, that would be fine, right?
私は当主を主張するつもりはありません。
But yeah, they're not showing us, I guess, what her reaction is when she really found out about her. Maybe later?
その役目はクラウス様に。
それは後ろ宮家当主としてのご命令ですか？
はい。
かしこまりました、親方様。ではそのようにいたします。
今夜のこともすべて内密にしてください。私はこれからも私のままでいます。私が後宮家の当主になって、あるいは黄金を手に入れて、やりたいことなど何もないのですから。
I just...
この島で、これまでと同じように、待っていたいだけなのです。これまでと同じに。何も変わらずに。それだけが、私の望みです。
かしこまりました、親方様。今夜のことはすべてこの場限りの秘密といたします。熊沢、南條先生、新しき当主様はそうご希望でいらっしゃいます。
あんたがそうしたいというなら、私は何の異論もない。金蔵さんの遺言は、あんたに全てを委ねるだ。そのあんたがそれを望むなら、私たちには何の文句もない。
これまでと同じようにと言いますけれど、本当にこれまでと同じようにこの島で生活を続けられるのですか？
I mean, they were not treating her badly back then even, right? They were actually treating her good, so for her, them treating her the same would be nice because it would feel weird if they suddenly treated her like, yes, as being the master, right? It would be really weird. I think anyone though would feel weird if people that were basically with you back then suddenly treated you a little bit differently because now you became something bigger, right? I would just want them to treat me the same. If they treated me good, right? I would still like them to just continue doing that, like nothing has changed.
これまでと何も変わらず？
はい。今夜のことは秘密にします。ここも、黄金も、封印します。もしもお金が必要になったら、その時改めて相談することにします。私には、それで十分です。
かしこまりました。ここに至る仕掛けも鍵も、すべてあなただけのものでございます。 そして今夜のことは私ども一同秘密にすることを誓います。次期当主はクラウス様となられますが、私の中では真の当主様はあなただけでございます。ご命令に従い、これからもこれまでと同じように振る舞いますが、いつ私の主はあなただけなのでございます。
ありがとうございます。
A vast mountain of gold and the ring of the Oshinomiya family head, the dress of the portrait Beatrice, and I became the true Beatrice, the Golden Witch, right here in my very own Golden Land. If I think about it, not much has actually changed. After all, I've always been the Golden Witch. I've just had a few more people acknowledge that. November 29th, the day I became a true witch. Oh!
ああ、我こそは我にして我らなり。
Dude, I forgot. No, never mind. Was it 11/29? Remember when we had the code with Butler back then? Oh no, remember the code back then written in red, in blood? Kind of something like that. It was Butler's birthday, and then there was another one, right? Was it 11/29? I kind of forgot, but I think it was 11/29. Okay. So that was the day she became a witch.
我は黄金の魔女ベアトリーチェ。この六軒島の真の支配者にして無限の黄金の所有者。でも何も満たされず、たった一人の思い人が帰ってきてくれる日を待っています。
It's over. But back then it was 07:15, right? And then 11:29. Okay, now we know 11:29 where we got that. Okay, but yeah, they didn't really show. They were really hiding some stuff, I guess, from us. Like these flashbacks, yes, but there's some stuff that they didn't show.
これで
Okay, so let's take a break here, but I mean, at least on how it ended, or the way they were showing it earlier, it was much more normal and much more peaceful, I guess, right? She said that I will just learn more about me as we go. They didn't really tell her instantly like, oh, by the way, your mom or Kinzo, yeah, Kinzo is your dad, but your mom is Kinzo's daughter as well. Technically, she's your mom and your sister. And then the people you love, remember them? Butler, Jessica, and George? Yeah, they're your nieces and nephews and the cousins at the same time. Oh my god, right? They didn't show that. And then, let's say Genji was walking away and then he came back. And by the way, yeah, I nearly forgot. When you were a baby, Natsu threw you off a cliff, but then you survive, thank God. And that's it. And then you can imagine Sayo with her shocked face like, what the F? They didn't show that scene, man. Maybe they're still gonna show that, I don't know. But yeah, the way that they showed it, I mean, was much more tame, I guess. Much more calm. Yeah, it was calmer. I thought it would be like, yeah, after Kinzo... what do you call this? Kinzo apologized and then died, it would be all revealed to her like instantly, but they didn't do that in that scene. But yeah, a lot of things they didn't do in this flashbacks for Sayo though. They didn't even show like why Kinzo suddenly had the epitaph made, for example. I mean, he had it, but he had put it on. I mean, suddenly just put it on there. Like why? Maybe he did find something that would indicate that, yeah, like Leon, or yeah, Leon was alive. Maybe he saw that, but they didn't show it here. They didn't show the romances for Jessica and George. Yeah, nothing like that there. For Butler only. For Butler, it was mostly just a promise. But yeah, the other ones, Jessica, George, nothing really. They didn't show that stuff. They're not really showing to us, I guess, more details for some reason. I don't know why, but that was it. That was a good scene there. I've been waiting to see that, I guess, the reveal for Sayo and then Kinzo. Didn't really expect that Kinzo would notice her as Leon. I thought he would just be like, "Oh, Beatrice, it's you," and then he died. I didn't expect him to be like, "Oh, you're Beatrice." But yeah, I'm happy that you survived, Leon, right? I did not expect that for Kinzo to say, and yeah, that was surprising and that was nice. So we'll see. We'll see what happens next time. I wonder what we're gonna get. But anyways, we're gonna continue this and do more of Umineko When They Cry, episode 7 in the next one. So I'll just see you then, guys. Bye-bye.